Okay, so today we're diving into something really fascinating. It's a look at a 6th grade math lesson that teaches algebraic inequalities, but it does it in a way you probably never saw in school. It actually grounds the whole concept in a famous, ancient story.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild combination, right? So that's really the big question we're tackling in this explainer. How on earth does a story about a prophet become a tool for teaching middle schoolers about variables and symbols? Let's break it down.
You know, it all kicks off with this single sentence. This is the piece of the story of Daniel that the entire lesson plan is built around. This isn't just a story anymore. For this class, it's basically a word problem in disguise.
All right, so before we connect the story to the math, we've got to make sure we're all on the same page with the core concept here. What exactly are inequalities?
I just love how this is framed, open-ended truths. See, unlike a regular equation where, x equals one specific number, an inequality says x could be this whole huge range of numbers. It's all about possibilities, not just one single locked-in answer.
And here are the tools of the trade. These 4 symbols. This is the language of inequalities. You've got your greater than, your less than, and the 2 that are really important for our lesson today, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. This is how we're going to translate words into math.
Okay, so let's build on that foundation. Now we're going to connect the story of Daniel with those symbols we just looked at. And this is where the lesson gets really creative.
So first things first, just like any algebra problem, we need a variable. So the lesson says, okay, let's let x be the number of times Daniel prayed. Simple enough, right? Now we go hunting for the clue. The lesson zeroes in on this one specific phrase, at least 3 times. See, that isn't just fluffy, descriptive language. In the world of math, those words have a very precise meaning. This is the bridge from English over to algebra.
And here's the translation. When you say at least 3, what you're really saying is that 3 is the absolute minimum. It could be 3, sure. It could be 4, it could be 5, but it can't be 2. It has a floor, a non-negotiable starting point.
And boom, there it is. The number of prayers, x, is greater than or equal to 3. That whole story, that single sentence, has now been perfectly translated into a clean mathematical statement. It's a really cool aha moment. So once the students really get this connection through the story, the lesson makes a little pivot. It moves from this narrative example into the more abstract, procedural math problems that you find in any textbook. And you can see that transition happening right here. On the left, you've got the Daniel story. It's a concrete model. And on the right, you have a typical practice problem. The lesson is using the story as an anchor, a way to help students feel more grounded when they have to tackle these more abstract equations.
And the practice problems, they follow a really clear set of rules. So take this one. 5x is less than or equal to 20. The steps are pretty straightforward. First, you see its multiplication. Then, you do the opposite, division to both sides. And bam, you get your final solution. X is less than or equal to 4. So the story is the hook for sure, but the actual procedural math is still the core skill that they're teaching.
So let's zoom out for a second. What's the big idea here? I mean, what's the ultimate goal of teaching math this way? Let's take a look at the why behind this whole unique method.
What's amazing is that the lesson plan actually ends by circling right back to the story. It explicitly connects that mathematical inequality, the standard of greater than or equal to 3, to a character trait, Daniel's consistency and his refusal to lower his own personal standards.
So here's the takeaway. The whole teaching strategy is about making an abstract concept feel real, feel tangible. By linking that symbol G equals to a memorable story about holding a standard, the hope is that the mathematical idea will actually stick. It's not just some random symbol floating around anymore. It's anchored to a narrative.
And that really brings us to our final thought. This lesson takes such a unique path, blending math with language and story. It really makes you wonder, what is it that makes a lesson truly unforgettable? Is it the pure logic of the numbers, the creative story, or is it that powerful connection between the 2?